Do you guys know that ICE agents are now just detaining 5-year-olds? Like that's what they're doing. That's who they're targeting. That's who they're arresting and putting in handcuffs and dragging away from their parents. At least that's what you'd believe if you listened to the mainstream media, which if you're intelligent, you don't listen to them. But we're going to talk about this story because this is something that's been talked about all week, and it is the latest story that the media and Democrats are using to paint ICE as bad people and to push their narrative that they are monsters going after innocent people for no reasons and that they are the modern day equivalent to the Gestapo. But before we get too much further, I appreciate you so much for being here. Please hit the like button on this video and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate you so much for doing both of those things. So this is something that happened just a few days ago, I believe around the 21st or 22nd. This is a report put out by CBS that says video obtained by CBS News shows the moment ICE agents took 5-year-old Liam Ramos in Minneapolis. The boy was taken with his father while in their driveway after just arriving home from his preschool classroom. School officials say the child was used as bait to knock on the door and ask to be let in. The Department of Homeland Security later said that the child was not targeted by ICE, but was abandoned by his father. They say his father fled federal agents as they approached his vehicle, leaving the child. DHS says the father, whom they described as an illegal alien from Ecuador, was later taken into custody as other ICE officers stayed with the child. Federal officials said on Thursday that the boy and his father are together at an immigration processing center in Dilley, Texas. So here's just a little bit of that initial footage. And of course, there's always people screaming in the backgrounds and blowing their whistles because... Well, there he is in his little blue hat. Poor thing.
Where's your humanity? Where's your humanity?
Where's your humanity? How dare you escort this 5-year-old child who has nobody around him that's willing to take him in? Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, of course, it did not take long for Democrats and the media to start spreading this idea, again, that ICE was detaining and arresting 5-year-olds. So this was a Democrat official. I can't remember where she's from. It doesn't really matter. She's pushing the same narrative that they all were pushing, but this is what she had to say before we had a chance to know what was going on at all. They've got to grab on and tell you what to think before the facts come out.
So now ICE is using a 5-year-old boy, a 5-year-old boy. They took him and used him to lure his father out. And now they've detained them both. The family doesn't know where they are. This is the worst of the damn worst. This is not humanity in Minnesota, folks. If you can look at this 5-year-old and actually with a straight face still support and be silent in the face of what the Trump administration and Kristi Noem is doing, I just can't even believe this is America. I will not vote for a damn penny to Kristi Noem or ICE in this Congress. This is a time where we should all be outraged. If this doesn't pierce through your humanity as a Republican member of Congress, you can't speak out about this, then you've got no humanity left.
So obviously they're out here telling everybody how they should feel before we know what happened. And they're going to make sure that we don't know what happened because they're not even shy about lying about this anymore. But let's get a couple more of these clips where they're pushing this narrative. Who more willing to push a lie than the woman, the hags of The View?
The fact that ICE used a 5-year-old boy, Liam Ramos, detained a 5-year-old boy to bait his father into coming out. The fact that ICE barged into the house.
Yeah, that didn't happen. And of course, we've got to get more white liberal women involved. This is a school official of some kind talking about her perspective of what happened.
Get my own children from school, and I heard the commotion and saw all the people. And as I got out of my car and came around the corner, I heard, "What are you doing? Don't take the child." His mom, like, there are people here that can take him. There was another adult who lived in the home that was there saying, "I will take the child. I will take the child." Somebody else was yelling. They saw that I was there and said, school is here. They can take the child. You don't have to take them. And there was ample opportunity to be able to safely hand that child off to adults. And mom was there. She saw out the window and dad was yelling, please do not open the door.
Why was the dad yelling, don't open the door? Why was the dad yelling to the mom to not open the door? Weird. If you were following this story at all this week, you know that this was the narrative. You know that there was headline after headline after headline in media outlets just pushing this idea that ICE is arresting 5-year-olds, detaining them, being heartless, losing their humanity, that us on the Republican side don't care one bit about this child, that we don't care if ICE had separated him from his father and ripped him out of his loving arms and refused to hand him over to his mother. That's how heartless we are. That's what we have been told all week long. So before we get into the facts of what actually happened, let's listen to this liberal woman, because I found her little take on this kind of a great segue into talking about the actual story. You guys are going to enjoy this.
This video is for MAGA and ICE supporters. I need your help. I need to know how to be just completely delusional about ICE detaining a 5-year-old coming home from school and using him as bait. So could you just tell me this is just liberal propaganda? Can you help me just be completely delusional and not think this is a horrific time to be an American? I would really appreciate your help. Thanks so much.
Your wish is my command. This was an official statement from DHS, from ICE, on what they were actually doing.
An operation to arrest Adrian Alexander Conejo Arias, an illegal alien who was released back into the interior of the United States by the previous administration. When officers approached Conejo Arias, he and his child were in a vehicle. Arias fled from law enforcement on foot, abandoning his child in the middle of winter in a vehicle. One of our officers stayed behind with that child while other officers apprehended his father. After conducting the arrest, my officers stayed with the child. They cared for him, took him to get something to eat from a drive-through restaurant, and spent hours ensuring he was taken care of. Again, my officers did that, not his father. My officers did everything they could to reunite him with his family. Tragically, when we approached the door of his residence, the people inside refused to take him in and open the door. Let me say it again. They saw the young boy and they refused to open the door and take him back. This is the human side of the job that my officers do. They are family men and women. They have children of their own. They sacrifice everything for their families. I know for a fact that they were heartbroken to see the child's own family leave him behind. Fortunately, Conejo Arias eventually requested that his child stay with him. We do everything in our power not to separate families. So they took him back together to Minneapolis, here to the city, to the ICE facility for processing, and now they are being well cared for at a family residential center, pending their immigration proceedings.
So they weren't using this kid as bait. The father got out of the vehicle and ran away and left his 5-year-old child there all by himself. And the ICE agents, what were they supposed to do? They did what they were supposed to do. They tried to go knock on the door, not to bait his mom into coming out so they could arrest her, but to open the door to take care of her child. And she refused to do that. That is absolutely bonkers to me. There is nothing that I personally would not do to take care of my kid. I don't care what sacrifices I have to make. I don't care about the consequences to myself. I need to be with my child and to protect them and to defend them, no matter what the cost is to me. That is what normal parents do. But these ICE agents are caring for these children far more than their own parents are. And we have these ridiculous activist protesters out in the streets pretending, brainwashed into thinking that ICE are the bad guys, even though they're the ones taking these children in, even when their own parents abandon them. And I have absolutely no doubt that that child was absolutely terrified. He wants to be with his dad. He wants to be with his mom. I don't think he cares where, whether it's here in the US or they end up on a plane going back home and told to go through the legal immigration process. The most important thing to a kid is to be with their parent, regardless of the circumstances, especially when they're scared. And how do you think that kid felt going up to the door? He's with these strange men that he doesn't know. And his own mother won't even open the door. His dad just ran off. If that doesn't tug at your heartstrings, you have no humanity.
What happened on the ground is that our law enforcement officers identified an illegal alien from Ecuador, and he darted. He ran away. He committed a federal crime by evading law enforcement as they were arresting him, and he abandoned his own child, of which our law enforcement officers, they comforted the child, made sure that he was safe, he was out of the cold. They actually gave him McDonald's. They played his favorite music to comfort him. And this is all while rioters and agitators are surrounding them. They got this child out of this danger. And Martha, they tried to bring the child into his mother's own custody. She wouldn't take him. This is even after our law enforcement officers told the mother that they would not be taking her into custody. They just wanted to bring her son over. So what happened was that both of these individuals who were in the country illegally abandoned their own child. Our law enforcement officers used their training. They made sure that the child was safe, and that child is now with his father in Dilley Detention Facility.
Now, of course, I'm probably going to get people that think I'm just being biased, that I'm just listening to people that are providing the narrative that I want to hear. But my filter through which, I find people that I want to listen to is if somebody has a historic record of lying, of fraud, and has a very clear agenda to want to keep illegal immigrants here and has an agenda as to why they want people to hate ICE, I'm not going to listen to them when they try to use a 5-year-old to bait their mindless base into hating ICE agents. The reason that they hate ICE agents is because ICE is supporting the people that Democrats need to support them, because sane and moral Americans do not support them anymore. They have an agenda as to why they need people to hate ICE. So I'm not going to listen to them when I know what their agenda is. ICE agents are doing the job that they've always done, which is to enforce our immigration laws. That's it. If you're here illegally, if you're a criminal here that has broken our laws on top of being here illegally, you get to go home. That's it. That is their entire job. And they are the ones saving children from people that are abandoning them and not taking care of them, who put themselves and their own needs above their own children, which is probably why liberals relate to them, because that tracks. So, of course, we just have to get to a couple of liberal reactions because they read the headline and that's as far as they got, because that's the difference between liberals and conservatives. If we both read the same headline that says ICE detained a 5-year-old and arrested a 5-year-old, we're going to have the same reaction. That's heartbreaking. That is sad. That is so terrifying for that child. But that's where liberals stop. The rest of us are like, well, what happened? What's behind the story? What really happened to this kid? So the liberal women have stopped at the headline, and this is their reaction to it.
If you guys feel insane trying to work today, I just want to say, me too. I genuinely, the picture of the little boy in his hat, like, how am I supposed to answer emails, I feel so crazy. Like, this is too much.
You are crazy. You are crazy. Yes, that boy, the picture of the little boy in the hat is heart-wrenching. Like I said, he is terrified right now. His dad left him there. His mom won't let him in. I have that same reaction, but you should be condemning the parents who left their child there instead of the people who stepped in to take care of him when his own family refused responsibility. And this one was particularly entertaining.
Oh, you're a mom who's not condemning ICE. You're a mom who's not condemning children being kidnapped off of the streets. Right. you're a mother who's not condemning ICE.
Septum ring theory every single time. Actually, it's because I'm a mother that I'm enraged for this 5-year-old boy. Because again, as a mother, I cannot imagine, it cannot even fathom leaving my child to fend for themselves, leaving them in the hands of strangers, even if they're law enforcement. Like someone comes to my door, has my child, I am swinging that door open so fast. I'm enraged at a mom who wouldn't do that for their child, who just wouldn't. That is baffling to me. But that's all I have for you in this one. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this in the comments below. Please be sure to hit the like button on this video and subscribe to my channel. As you guys know, we always end with Charlie Kirk. So keep it real, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Are you asking me, is it okay for the U.S. government to scoop up illegal aliens and send them home? Yes. Next question.
Okay.
Yes.
But the data says 75% of them have no U.S. criminal records, and yet they were still...
Oh, they should all go home. If you are an illegal alien in America, you should be sent back to your country of origin. Every single one of them should be deported back to their country.
With the proper due process that the 14th Amendment requires, right?
It depends. If Alien Enemies Act, expedited... So you had to tell me now, because you came up here with a contention.
Yeah.
What is the expedited removal process? Because the Supreme Court in 2019 ruled on what is called expedited removal. Do you know about this?
The Supreme Court just ruled 9-0.
No, they put a stay on the Alien Enemies Act in June. They will author whether or not it's still constitutional. The Alien Enemies Act has been around since 1798. It was used 3 times prior. However, to the expedited release, the Supreme Court said you do not need to give due process to an illegal alien that is within 100 miles of the southern border or has been here less than 14 days. The Supreme Court said that. You do not have to give due process.